Anyone who does not love me will not obey my teachings. These words you hear are not my own. This is Jesus talking. He's saying these words are not my own. Who do they belong to? They belong to the Father who sent me. They belong to the Father who sent me. So you got these commandments. They involve the full scope of Christ, of his revelation. So if you go back, so to the Jews who had believed in him, Jesus said, if you hold to my teachings, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will what? Set you free. They answer him, we are Abraham's descendants and have never been slaves of anyone. How can you say that we shall be set free? Jesus replied, verily, very truly I tell you, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. Now a slave has no permanent place in the family, but a son belongs to it forever. So you understand that when we talk about sin, we could not conquer sin on our own. We could not conquer sin on our own. We needed a mediator that would be able to take it on for all of times, for old and for new, going forward, and for all the sins that we created, for all of eternity at one time. And so when I think about the cross, I think about God's wrath, but I also think about God's love at the same time. In one hand, you have God's wrath. He poured out his entire wrath on his son, but the reason we're going through this is because of his love. And it's the one place where God's wrath and his love is present at the same time. Well, that's how it is to me, is because you're looking at the red book. For it to be so popular, there's even a lot of our own brothers and sisters, Christians, that don't read the Bible. And so if this thing is called the bread of life, the word being the bread, then how can we say that we're feeding our spirit? So we're walking around with this Holy Spirit literally starved for the word. Literally starved for the word. It has to eat. It has to feed. And so when you think about this, you need the word or the spirit needs nourishment. Just like you eat, your spirit needs to eat. It needs to be fed. When was the last time you went? How long have you gone without reading? A couple of weeks? When was the last time you gone a couple of weeks without reading when you have food in your refrigerator? That sounds crazy, right? So here we are in the same thing where we have this word sitting right here, and we're walking around malnourished in the spirit. And so as we talking about walking with the word, walking in the word with the word, God said that he would never leave us or forsake us, and we have to believe that. So the only way we don't believe that is because of the fact that we either don't want to do it. And I notice even within myself, when God is telling me not to do something, and I say, oh, I'm going to do it anyway, I notice that I start to hide. What do you choose to believe? Do you believe that God has something better for you? Do you actually believe that? I once heard someone say, when a person shows you who they are, believe them. Because they're not going to be able to hide forever. So what has Jesus showed us? What has God showed us? He has showed us that he loves us. So why is it so hard for us to walk with him? Why do we want to venture off from beside God? It says, hey, I'll need you to turn the other cheek on this issue.